Thank you, Susan.
Okay. Yes. All right. So one of the things that's so important in helping people to achieve their goals is that they actually know what the big desire is at the end, right? Because they're working with you because they want to like achieve whatever this big desire is. And I never used to use the word desire. I have to give a lot of credit to a woman named Shamina Taylor because I used to always think about goals. Goals are very corporate, right? We have goals. We need to hit our goals. I've got goals, right? They're very up, 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 up. They're usually number based. They're very masculine. They're very like, gotta hit my goal, gotta hit my goal, gotta hit my goal. The thing with desires is like, it's this thing that's out here that like kind of doesn't even feel like it might not be possible. But the bigger you make that story of what you desire, right? The easier it becomes to withstand the bumps along the journey. And we were having this conversation earlier in a training program. There's basically two bumps, right? Once you teach somebody something, right? Once you give them the knowledge and they have to go do the something, they're going to run into skill and will issues. Those are the two buckets. Skill issues are simply things where they're stuck in the process, things they didn't understand, something that they tried, but it didn't quite work and it just needed to be, refinessed. So as leaders, you're going to get really good at knowing the biggest obstacles your people run into. Okay. And you're going to be good at diagnosing whatever that problem is. And you're going to create all sorts of little tools and strategies and things that help people to solve those issues. The larger issue is always the will issue, because the will issue is the little voice in your head that says, I can't, I'm not good enough, I've tried it before, I failed, this is never going to happen for me, this is only for other people. Everybody's got their story. And the problem is, as soon as you reach beyond where you are comfortable today, those stories start flying out. And so we have to be prepared for that. It's not a question of is it going to happen? It is absolutely going to happen. Our job isn't to fix it. Our job is just to get really good at holding up the mirror so that people can see when it is happening and lessen the ability of it to stop their forward progress. Now, I want to share something today because I use this strategy over and over and over again. And this is happening for me in real time. And I want to share how this works. So I decided that I wanted to become a national conference speaker. And I, of course, learned the process for how do you do that, right? You write, you have to have an idea, you submit the article, blah, 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 right? That's the learning part of it. So I go and I do it. And I find the Learning Guild, that's like a good audience for me, and I'm going to start applying there. Okay, great. So I do it. The problem is I got turned down, not once, not twice, but 3 times. Okay. And it's only open twice a year. So now a year and a half. Okay. A year and a half. So I've got this big goal, and a year and a half, I apply and it's a no. So I've got a skill issue because clearly there's something I'm not doing, right? And really what was going on was my topic wasn't landing. I had to get better at, there wasn't anything wrong with my content, but my topic wasn't landing. I had to get better at the marketing of my article. So I learned some new skills. Now, I also had all this in my head screaming, I told you you weren't smart enough. I knew you couldn't do this. You weren't that good in school, right? All my stories, right, come flying out. Now, the difference between me and the majority of people is that I'm really good at understanding when I hear my stories. And I get really good at creating a mantra that is connected to my vision that keeps me going. And I've used it twice. I've used it to run the marathon, and I used it to get picked up through the e-learning guild. And it's simply this: yes, you can. Just keep going. That's it. So every time the rejection letter came, I was like, you just have to learn something new and you have to keep going, right? Learn something new and you have to be willing to keep going. And that's what I did. And so fast forward, so it took me a year and a half to get an approval.
Mm.
And then I got on the speaking circuit. Now I'm on the speaking circuit all the time. But I had a new layer of this desire just literally just happened today. I got a notice that one of my presentations from last year made the best of the e-learning guild live presentations for the year
Wow.
before.
Oh my
So because of
God.
that, they asked me to do an encore performance. So
Wow.
not only, right, am I now a national conference speaker, which was the goal,
Yeah.
but the big dream that like I didn't even tell anybody about was like, how could I be the best? How could I like what would I have to do to become the best? So I share this story because and I'm going to just hold this up, but here's the email that just came out from the e-learning guild. I'm going to
Oh
read
my
across the top and
God.
it says, see one of
Congratulations.
our best sessions from Learning 2021 conference. Here's my vision to life. So when people say manifestation is not true, here's your proof, right? I didn't just have a dream of being a national conference speaker. I let that dream get so big, and I had the audacity to say to myself, how can I be the best? So that implied not only was I going to be a national speaker, but I was going to take it to the next level. Notice I didn't put any time requirements on that.
Mm.
Notice I didn't say it had to happen in a certain amount of time. I don't know, maybe I could have done it quicker if I added that. But I'll tell you what wouldn't have happened is if the first time I submitted that presentation, which by the way is now a best, this is the original presentation, is now a best. If I wouldn't have resubmitted not once, not twice, but for the third time, none of this would even have had the chance of becoming, right? So when you're thinking about creating your training programs, and when we start building them in the beginning, we always ask you to work with your clients to dream ridiculously big.
Mhm.
And then to use that as the guiding light for how they are going to achieve that goal, right? Because it really does happen in your mind first. And you really do notice I use the word declare. I declared I am going to be a national conference speaker. I declared it. I believed it to be true. And then I was willing to learn. I was willing to take action. And I was willing to pivot and change to achieve that big goal.
That's really, really amazing.
Right?
Congratulations.
So, yes. So, as you're thinking about really, and thank you, by the way, and thank you for letting me share because this like literally just happened in real
So
time.
exciting.
And, again,
Wow.
like this is probably a 3-year journey, which on
Wow.
top of was probably a 5-year journey to allow myself to believe I was smart enough to be a national conference speaker. So, listen, Rome wasn't built in a day. Right? And I
Mhm.
want to just bring this back to the context of transformational training. It is not the information. Learning how to submit a proposal was not the hard part. Tweaking those submissions until I got it right and allowing myself to believe that it was possible for me, even when I was confronted with evidence of the contrary.
Mhm.
Right?
Mhm.
I was told, no, we don't want this one. We don't want this one either. We don't want this one either. Notice I didn't say they didn't want me. They didn't want that proposal. So these are some really great things that you can help your participants with as you are continuing this journey of you created the program. Now, how good can you get it? Is how do you help people over the skill and will issues that aren't what's the word I'm looking for? It's not if they're going to happen, it's when. And how good can you get as the program owner to identify what those things are? Will is always a belief in some way that it's not possible for me for this reason. And it's not our job to help people figure out and deal with those beliefs, but it is our job to help them understand that they're just bumping up against the unfamiliar or the unknown. And there's so much comfort in knowing that. So much comfort in knowing that.